this is Stuff You Like, You Can Call Me Ursa, and we're finally on to the last week of the Avengers. Which means that we're not going to be talking about Nick Fury. I love you, Nick Fury. The Avengers doesn't have many women, but they're all pretty awesome. Mostly. You've got Peggy Carter, who is 40s British woman all over from Keep Calm and Carry On to red lipstick and roller set hair. You've got Jane Foster being all science nerdy. You've got Darcy, Sif, Pepper, Maria Hill, and both Bettys, I guess, but I flatly refuse to watch either of the Hulk movies ever again. Not even for you, so we're gonna kind of skim over them. But, you know, if anybody would like to elaborate on the awesomeitude of the Bettys, then they can do so in comments. You should totally leave a comment. I read them all, I swear. Eventually. Let's start with the female character not love interest section. First, these types of women are kind of rare, especially in action movies, so I'm, you know, pretty chuffed that in Thor we had 2 of them. Women for whom gender informs character, it might even be an issue for the character, but their entire existence does not revolve around, you know, being someone's girlfriend. So, woo. Natasha is a woman who's hot and badass and extremely competent, and someone whose job relies on playing stereotypes and playing off not very bright people's expectations of women. Loki is all, oh, you're a human and a woman to boot, you must be such an idiot. And she's just, no. There's some unresolved sexual tension going on, for sure, but it's not important to her character arc, and it's implicit. Because her character arc is not about falling in love, it's about atoning for past wrongs and doing the right thing and punching your fears in the face. And then we have Maria Hill, who's a great example of, look, this character could have been played just as easily by a man. She's badass and she's competent and she's really pretty, but her hotness/vagina possession is not an issue. Even in the ridiculous jumpsuits that all junior SHIELD agents seem to have to wear, she's, you know, fine. Everybody wears the same thing. They all look equally ridiculous. Her gender isn't an issue. She doesn't trade on it, nobody mentions it, SHIELD has male and female agents, so what? And again, not a love interest. Sif is a woman in a man's job, as it were, being a warrior in Asgard, but while people might find it unusual, nobody really says anything about it. And again, no romantic subplot. She comes, she kicks ass, she leaves. She fulfills pretty much the same role as the rest of Thor's warrior posse, and that makes me happy. Darcy now. Darcy really interests me because she seems to be a character explicitly written for the young women in the audience. Darcy is for the teenage Tumblr crowd. She's college age because we aspire to be like people who are a couple of years older than us. She's smart, though she doesn't have genius level intellect. She's sassy, she's got an eye for detail, she's important to the story, good with a taser, and interesting without being the love interest. And she's not Hollywood skinny either. And she's also doing about half of the female gazing. There is a lot of female gaze in Thor, and a lot of romantic comedy tropes for that matter. And even if we discount Frigga, who doesn't really do very much, a lot of women for an action film, by which I mean there are women rather than woman. Love Darcy. Onward then to the love interests. The best thing about the love interests in the Avengers movies is that for the most part they are not just the love interest, they do have some other relevance to the plot. Maybe Betty, I don't know. I don't remember if either of the Bettys do much. They both do science, and they both argue with their fathers, but can't remember anything else. Peggy Carter is, like Sif, a woman in a context where women were really unusual, and so her gender is a thing. But while it's something she has to deal with, it's never suggested that being female makes her less competent. And when people don't take her seriously, she punches them in the face. Peggy Carter functions as a love interest, but in an exceptionally understated sort of way. There's no fondue for Captain America. He doesn't get a dance, he doesn't even get a kiss from Peggy. And she will take none of his crap. She's 40s woman, she's getting stuff done, and if she quite fancies Captain America, well, who doesn't? And Dr. Jane Foster is of course a love interest too, but a very proactive one. She ogles, she does research, she learns the secrets of the universe, she instigates kisses, and Thor is totally a movie with equality between the sexes, is what I'm saying. Jane's primary focus is always the science. If there's a hot guy who can explain magic meets quantum physics to her on rooftops, so much the better, but she's all about the science. Also, props to the wardrobe department in Thor, who decided not to dress the college student and the academic like sexy secretaries. Women who are not all about clothes salute you, wardrobe department. It fits with their personalities the same way that Pepper is always in impeccable suits or designer dresses with really expensive shoes. Right, Pepper. I love Pepper. Pepper is a great example of how to write a significant female character who's also a civilian. Normally civilians in action movies are relegated to screaming and running around, but no. Pepper has no idea what's going on for the most part, but she just copes. She's a character who stands up for herself, she doesn't let Tony boss her around. Well, not too much, he is actually her boss in the first film and a half, and she is indispensable. And she knows it. As Tony's PA, she's also practically his mother hen, but Pepper knows her own worth, which is another thing I like about these characters. Not even the Bettys are primarily concerned with being someone's girlfriend, they have things to do. Jane Foster is rewarded by the narrative for wanting to know more about science rather than wanting to snag the hot demigod. Peggy Carter and Captain America never hook up, but I wouldn't bet against her going on and doing amazing things with her life anyway. And Pepper just buckles on her skyscraper heels and gets to work. I appreciate the relatively high instance of non-love interest female characters, even if I think we could probably do with some more women significant characters in general. And I appreciate, generally speaking, how the love interests are written as significant characters in their own right and have use in the story beyond, "Oh, let me heal your manly angst, hero." And Nick Fury is pretty great too. Yeah, I haven't talked about him, and I'm not going to because I don't really have anything interesting to say. Okay, we are done with the Avengers. I think. Next episode we are going back in time to the turn of the millennium. We're talking about antitrust, time capsule films, product placement, and the rise of the sexy nerd boy. Also my second ever geeky crush. See you then.